Great. Welcome so much, Jasmina and Stephen. So nice to have you here.
Thank you, Rana.
Lovely. Maybe to start with you, Jasmina, what do you think, what were the biggest highlights for you personally yesterday?
Well, there were so many interesting things, but I have to say first I was really pleasantly surprised by the diversity of participation, how many panelists and participants from all over the world joined us yesterday. And to me, it indicated really how important this issue is in so many different contexts. The second thing that really struck me was the liveliness of discussions that were happening in the chat and how people were actually sharing resources with each other and always trying to learn from one another. We even had one of the participants who prepared a Google document where she was putting all the resources for everybody. So it was a really good indication of the importance of networking and learning across different countries. And thirdly, I think what really struck me was that people were really appreciative of the policy guidance, but they were also saying, what next? How do we implement it in practice? What do we do? And obviously, we shared some examples through 8 case studies that we developed, and we would like to encourage everybody, all the participants, to read and have a look at those, because they do give some roadmap on how do we implement this in practice.
Excellent. That's a really nice sum up here. Thanks, Jasmina. What about you, Stephen? As we know, the second version of the UNICEF policy guidance on AI and children was launched yesterday. So what do you think? How do you wish the guidance to be used from now on, and where do you see the biggest improvement from the first version?
So in terms of how it should be used, ideally, I would say 2 things. The one is it should be used across the whole organization. You know, it's aimed primarily at government and industry, the private sector, but it goes from the very top leadership who set the direction for the organization and the values to be child-centered, you know, kind of rights over revenue and people over profits, all the way down to the software developer and the data scientist, kind of, you know, at the coalface. So the one is the whole organization, and then secondly, just to use it openly, as we've done with the case studies. You know, nobody has all the answers to move from AI principles to practice. The only way we learn is from each other. And so how does one organization implement explainability for children versus someone else? And so if you use the guidance, please share, you know, this is to everyone, please share your findings and share your lessons and what worked and what didn't. But I should say that just, you know, the guidance is our tool, but the guidance isn't the end, it's how it's used. And this is why it's really everybody's job. It's not just government and business, it's also parents and teenagers. And that's why we've included in the second round, you said, what's new in version 2? We've included a guide for parents and a guide for teenagers, and of course the 8 case studies. So it's really now a pack that we're happy to share.
Yeah, that's great, and it really tells that we are all key players here, definitely. What do you think, Jasmina? In your opinion, what is the most important thing when upholding children's rights in the creation of AI systems?
Well, I think the most important thing is really a political will and commitment. So we have around the world, we have beautiful legislation, policies, conventions that are not always upheld and they are not always implemented. So now that we have this policy guidance, we would like to see governments and the private sector really using them and implementing them. And the political will also means translating this into resources, financial, human resources, transparency and accountability.
Exactly. Good recalls there. As you probably may remember, we asked the same question from our audience yesterday. So let's see what the word cloud from yesterday looks like. And here we have it. There you go. So our results are here, and I see a couple of things rising, probably from the other ones. But what do you think, Jasmina? What does this reflect to you?
Yes, I think interesting points. Data quality, one that we often forget to talk about, because AI systems are based on data and very much depend on data quality, and that is an important one. Privacy is big concern for all of us, particularly for children.
Right. Yeah, that's excellent. What do you think, Stephen, if you think about today, what are your hopes for the next 3 hours?
Well, yesterday was very much about reflecting on how we got to this point, in a sense, and what the evidence is, and some of the research, and some of the policies. And today, there's a more of a focus on these policies in practice. So what does AI in education look like? Not the curriculum, but how is it being used in the classroom to improve learning, for example? So today is more in practice, and also a bit more forward-looking. What does the future of AI look like, and how do we shape that future for children?
Lovely. Nice words to end on with you. Great. Thank you so much, Jasmina and Stephen, for being here and for all of your work.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.